Rich Lewis, the fearless mountain lion hunter and seasoned outdoorsman from Mountain Men, has always lived a rugged, unpredictable life in the remote wilderness of Montana. Known for his fierce independence and unmatched tracking skills, Rich's barn has long been the heart of his operation, a place where he stores his tools, cares for his animals, and prepares for the dangers of the wild. But what was recently found inside that very barn has left both fans and locals absolutely stunned. The discovery wasn't just unexpected, it was deeply disturbing. When a small group of visitors entered Rich's barn after reports of strange noises and unusual activity, they stumbled upon something that stopped them in their tracks. What they found inside painted a picture far more complex and far more unsettling than anyone could have imagined. Those closest to Rich have always described him as a man who keeps his world private, only sharing glimpses of his daily life through the lens of Mountain Men. But this new revelation has opened up questions about what was really happening behind closed doors. From eerie findings to items with mysterious origins, the barn has become a focal point of speculation and concern among fans and neighbors alike. As news of the discovery spreads, the mystery surrounding Rich Lewis has only deepened. In this video, we'll uncover exactly what was found in Rich's barn, explore the truth behind the shocking discovery, and reveal how it sheds light on the life and the secrets of one of Mountain Men's most enigmatic survivalists. For years, Rich Lewis has been one of the most fascinating figures on Mountain Men, a seasoned tracker, skilled hunter, and fiercely independent frontiersman. He has spent much of his life in the secluded backcountry of Montana. His property, surrounded by rugged hills and dense forests, has always been his safe haven, a place where man and nature coexist in delicate balance. But deep within his land stands a structure that has now become the center of attention: his barn. To most viewers, the barn was simply part of Rich's routine, a workspace where he repaired gear, stored feed, and sheltered his loyal hunting dogs. But those who know him personally understood it as something more. The barn was his command center, his shelter against blizzards, his workshop, and sometimes his refuge from the solitude of mountain life. It was the one place Rich could truly control, a rare pocket of order in the unpredictable wilderness. Recently, however, that image was shaken. When Rich's longtime friends and neighbors decided to check on the barn after noticing unusual sounds and signs of disturbance, what they uncovered sent a wave of unease through the community. The discovery was not only unexpected, it was deeply disturbing. Though details were initially scarce, those present described the scene as eerie and unsettling, the kind of moment that leaves you with more questions than answers. Inside the barn, everything seemed frozen in time. Tools were left scattered as if someone had left in a hurry. Dust covered the wooden surfaces, and the faint smell of decay lingered in the air. Yet among the familiar hunting gear and storage barrels were items that didn't seem to belong. Strange remnants of past hunts, old animal bones, and peculiar markings that hinted at rituals or habits that went far beyond ordinary survival preparation. Rich Lewis has always been known for his respect toward nature. His work as a tracker and mountain lion hunter wasn't driven by cruelty, but by necessity, protecting livestock and preserving balance in the ecosystem. However, what was found in the barn made even his closest friends pause. Some claimed that the discovery might have been a result of years of collecting and preserving hunting trophies, while others felt there was something different about what they saw, something that suggested deeper meaning or untold stories. The barn had always been a mirror of Rich's life, practical, rugged, and filled with memories of the wild. But now it had become a source of speculation. Fans began to wonder if the disturbing find was evidence of a side of Rich that few had ever glimpsed. Was it a misunderstood collection of relics, or did it point to a more personal struggle beneath his tough exterior? As word spread, social media and local communities buzzed with discussion. Viewers of Mountain Men debated the possibilities, analyzing every known detail and theorizing about what could have led to such an unsettling discovery. For many, it wasn't just the objects that caused concern, it was what they represented. In a life lived so close to the edge of nature's dangers, perhaps there were secrets, losses, or emotional scars that no camera had ever captured. Whatever the truth may be, the barn has become a symbol of the mystery surrounding Rich Lewis. A place once known for hard work and survival has now taken on a haunting before the shocking discovery in his barn. Rich Lewis had already earned legendary status among fans of mountain men. He wasn't just another rugged survivalist on the show. He was the living embodiment of resilience, courage, and raw instinct. Deep in the wilderness of Montana, Rich spent years protecting his small, isolated community from one of nature's deadliest threats, mountain lions. His reputation as a fearless tracker wasn't just for television. It was something he had built over a lifetime of living close to danger. Rich's relationship with the wild wasn't about dominance, it was about respect. He often said he didn't hunt for sport. He hunted to keep balance, to make sure predators didn't encroach too close to the homesteads scattered around Ruby Valley. His small pack of loyal hounds was his constant companion, and together they formed one of the most skilled tracking teams ever featured on the show. Each chase, each hunt, and each cold winter night captured on camera reflected not just survival, but devotion to the land, the animals, and the people he swore to protect. But behind that stoic, determined exterior, there was a quieter side to Rich that few got to see. He lived simply, preferring the company of his dogs over large gatherings. Neighbors described him as a man of few words, someone who could disappear into the forest for days and come back as if nothing had changed. He didn't care for fame or recognition. For Rich, Mountain Men was never about being on TV. It was about showing the world a way of life that was slowly fading away. As the years went on, though, the strain of that life began to take its toll. Long days tracking in sub-zero temperatures, endless physical exertion, and the isolation of the wilderness weighed heavily on him. Viewers began to notice that Rich appeared more worn down, moving slower, speaking less. And when he suddenly vanished from the show, fans feared the worst. Yet no one could have predicted what was coming next. When the truth about what lay inside Rich's old creaky barn finally surfaced, even those who knew him best were left completely stunned. Significance, leaving fans eager and uneasy to learn what really happened inside. When Mountain Men quietly moved forward without Rich Lewis, fans were left puzzled. There was no official statement, no farewell episode, no reason given. He was simply gone. For years, viewers speculated that he had retired due to age, or perhaps just grown tired of the cameras. But those who lived near him in Montana knew that something wasn't quite right. The once lively cabin that always had dogs barking and smoke curling from the chimney now stood eerily still. Neighbors began to whisper about how Rich had become more withdrawn in his final months on the show. He rarely came into town even for supplies and seemed haunted by something unseen. His closest friends said he had started to talk about being followed, by shadows, by something in the woods. Most brushed it off as the result of isolation, but Rich wasn't one to imagine things. If he said he saw something, there was usually a reason. Months later, when a friend stopped by his property after not hearing from him for weeks, they found the place in disarray. The cabin door was unlocked, the hounds were gone, and a thin layer of dust coated everything inside. But it was the old barn at the edge of the property that drew the most attention. Its doors were chained shut, something Rich had never done before. When the local authorities finally managed to open it, what they found inside stunned everyone. There were maps, photographs, and a collection of old animal traps. But none of that was unusual for Rich. What stood out were the strange carvings on the wooden beams, symbols and markings no one could quite interpret, along with stacks of old journals filled with cryptic notes about a presence watching him in the forest. Each entry seemed more erratic than the last, as if Rich had been descending deeper into paranoia or fear. The most disturbing part, though, wasn't the carvings or the notes. It was what lay beneath the floorboards. Hidden there were several sealed boxes containing bones and remnants that appeared to belong to large predators. Some said they were mountain lions he had hunted. Others believed there was more to the story. Something darker, something Rich never meant anyone to uncover. The discovery sent shockwaves through the small Montana community and reignited every rumor surrounding his disappearance. What had Rich Lewis really seen out there in the wilderness? And what drove him to seal away whatever he found in that barn? ChatGPT can make mistakes. Check important info.